Yo, yo. Salute, salute. Good evening, good night. How's everybody doing? This here is an impromptu unplanned live. Just wanted to, I ain't really want nothing, man. I just wanted to chop it up a little bit. Tomorrow is my wife's birthday. And tonight she is going out with her homegirls. You know what I'm saying? She's at a restaurant, so I dropped her off so that she can have her some libations. Black Spring, salute to you. Good afternoon. Good evening to you, Queen. This is not really about much. I ain't really talking about nothing. Just wanted to see what you guys are up to. Kind of check your temperature. You know, it's a lot going on in the world, and I've been covering a lot of different things lately, and I just wanted to just talk about life right now, man. Salute to Braden Holson. Salute to you. Black Spring with Autumn is in the building. Salute to you, Queen. I just wanted to see what you guys were up to. Kind of just talk about general life things. Talk about where we are as a society and what that means, what the future might look like. Nothing really specific, The reason I wanted to do this is because, well, sometimes it's just good to just talk, kind of spitball things and see what we can come up with. And not just be so doom and gloom and just talk about solutions, what life looks like, what life could look like if we make the proper steps. If we take the proper steps as a people, what can life look like for us? And what does that mean? Right? A lot of people have a lot of different ideas on how society should be and how people should live and what type of society we should live in, and whether it's a democracy or there are a lot of different ideas of how people should live life. And for me, it comes down to this. It comes down to individual choices and individual needs, right? Because the individual, right? The individual comes first. Salute to Brother Xander. Salute to you, nephew. The individual, your individual self, is the most important thing in your life. It sounds selfish, right? It's really not. Salute to Black Spring with Autumn. She dropped the link to my book in the chat. The most important thing in your life right now is yourself. And it will always be that way, even if you have children, right? Especially if you have children. You can't serve your children if you're not your best self. If you're not willing to defend your own freedoms and your own individuality and your own sovereignty, how are you going to be any good to your children? The next most important thing in my mind are your children. They are your progeny. They are your blood. They are your future. Right? And we must do the best we can to protect our children. But our children are under constant attack. Every day, 24/7. They're under constant attack. And it's up to us to protect us from every single one of these attacks. But we have to know what they are, right? Because of a lot of these attacks are subliminal. You don't even know it's happening. They're being attacked when they go on the internet. They're being attacked when they're on YouTube and TikTok, right? They're being attacked constantly under pressure, constantly being bombarded with propaganda, with conditioning, with institutionalization. And you have to be on guard. You have to test your children every day. You got to talk to them and make sure they're not being indoctrinated in some form or fashion, right? This is a reality. The indoctrination of your children is a reality. I have 6 children, and it's hard to keep up with everything with them and knowing what they're doing. And because, I got a 15-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old daughter, and they each have phones, and I'm not really a fan of that, but, it's a reality. I have to constantly check my children and make sure they're not being attacked. And what you discover is they are being attacked. Where are you learning this from? Why are you eating that? What is this? What is that? You send your kids to an institution like a school, you have no idea what they're doing. Yes, giving the kids a cell phone is allowing the world to have access to them. But at the same time, you just have to be careful with what they can access on their phones. You got to put strict parental controls on them. Because, and listen, trying to keep your kids from having phones when they're teenagers, they're going to have a hell of a shock, right? Let's say you don't ever let your children have cell phones until they're adults. Well, by the time they're adults, it's going to be a shock to them, or they're going to do whatever they want on their cell phone when they're adults anyway, right? The best you can do is introduce them to that world, help them understand what they're seeing, right? Help them learn discernment. Teach your children discernment. Put strict parental controls on the phones, and by the time they become adults, they'll be responsible with those devices. But there's no way you're going to stop them from having a cell phone when they're adults. They're going to have a cell phone. Yes, please hit the like button, y'all. It's like when I was a kid, right? When I was a kid, everybody was trying to stop us from cussing, right? Because we didn't have cell phones when I was a kid, right? When I was 8, 9, 10, 11, there were no goddamn cell phones. There were car phones, but it wasn't no cell phones. Salute to you. Salute to you. Yes, please hit the like button when you come in here. We didn't have cell phones. And I appreciate the fact that we didn't have cell phones, because we lived life. When we were kids, I lived life like kids should live life, right? I live life like kids should live life. And everybody no one wanted us to cuss. Oh, you can't say that word. You can't say that word, right? All the adults, don't cuss. Don't say this. Don't say that. Don't say the F word. Don't say the A word. Don't say the B word, right? But it's like, well, the first thing I'm going to do when I become an adult is cuss my ass off, right? So why am I not cussing right now? When I become an adult, I'm going to cuss, right? Right? I'm going to do that. And there was this, when I was a kid, we used to hang out at the homie house. That was like the kicking spot, the homie house, because his mom's was hella cool, basically, she was an interesting woman, right? But she wasn't like my mama. She was single. She was a single mother, and she worked a whole lot. But she made a lot of bread. She made bank. Back then, like in the 90s, she made like $60,000-$70,000 a year. That was a lot of money. And we used to go to her house and kick it. And she was hella cool. She wasn't strict, super strict, or nothing like that. And she would cuss in front of us and act like she was one of the homies. And when we cussed, she didn't get all upset about it. Now, if you got disrespectful, she'll check you. But if you just cussing just to cuss in, like in a regular conversation, she did not like get on us about it. She was like, oh, don't say that. No, she let you cuss. She'll cuss at you. She'll talk to you and be cussing. And one day I was like, yo, Jay. I'm gonna just call her Jay. Why you be letting us cuss like that? She said, you gonna cuss anyway. She said, when I'm not here, you cussing. When y'all go to school, y'all cussing. Why I'm gonna stop y'all from cussing? She thought it was fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you gonna cuss when you become an adult. You cussing right now. You cuss when you go to school. You cuss when your parents is gone. Why am I sitting up here acting like you ain't gonna cuss at all because I'm telling you not to cuss? That was her philosophy. Like, nah, y'all go ahead, get it out your system. Go ahead and cuss. Just don't be disrespectful. You know, don't be calling me a bitch, nothing like that. Don't be calling each other. You know, don't get too crazy. And that's kind of how the world don't care about your kids. Is essentially what's going on, right? When you go out into the world as an adult, no one in the real world, in the adult world, gives a hot damn that you was a kid. No, it's time for you to be a grown-up. No. You're going to be introduced to things. There are so many things out there in the world right now I couldn't imagine when I was a kid. When I was 16, 17, 18, the shit we got going on in the world right now, how the internet is, the goddamn, oh, salute to Mac, it's Mac of the South. Salute to you, bro. The AI and the social media and the TikTok and the goddamn Twitter, all this shit going on. Man, this shit was not, I did not see this. I did not see it. I got my first camera phone when I was 25 years old. That's when I was 25 when the camera phones came out. And now look at us, man. 20 years later. Damn. I was 20 years later. That's crazy. When I was 25, that was 20 years ago, y'all. I was 25, 20 years ago. And cell phones just came out. And not cell phones, but, you know, camera phones. And that shit, if you had a camera phone, oh shit. You know, so, and it wasn't even a shot, right? When you got your first camera phone, you just started taking pictures. I had this, I was dating this young lady, and you know, we was doing some stuff, and we was taking all kinds of pictures. The shit I was doing, and there wasn't no cloud back then. There wasn't no cloud backup. This shit is crazy. Cloud backup. You take pictures on your phone right now, and it goes uploaded. It's uploaded automatically into a cloud, y'all. The shit never goes away unless you turn off the backup. But who does that? No one does that. Anyway, yeah, when I was 25 years old, 24 years old, I was dating this chick, and they had the camera phone, and you know, we was doing crazy wild shit, and we was taking these pictures and all this other stuff. Pictures you don't want nobody to find, you know what I'm saying? Like those types of pictures. I know it's not really a cloud. I know that. I know it's not a cloud. It's an internet. Well, it's an online goddamn storage space. I know what it is. And Yeah. Now, my daughter, both my oldest daughters, 13, 15 years old, they got cameras. I mean, they got cell phones. And they got all access to all kind of shit that I didn't even dream about having access to when I was a kid, when I was their age. And it was a different world back then. We were a lot more naive back then. We didn't have access to the information we have now. And it can be a blessing and a curse. Because if I just opened up my kids' access to things and they saw all the things that I can witness, what kind of trauma can children suffer from an understanding of what we got going on in the world? Make no mistake, they still have access, right? They can still see things. But their perspective, right? How they view the world is not like myself, not like you guys. Salute to the brother Shelton in the building. Yeah, I'm night riding. I dropped my wife off at this restaurant. It's her birthday tomorrow, so she went and her homegirls wanted to take her out to eat. So I dropped her off so she can get her little libations, you know what I'm saying? So she can get a little drink on and not have to worry about it. I don't know if I'm gonna have to pick her up, but we'll see. Yeah, payphones. We had payphones. I was riding around on the bike, me and the homies, in the neighborhood at midnight on Fridays and Saturdays. We were outside, y'all. Outside, riding bikes, no helmet, no goddamn elbow pads and knee pads. Get that shit out of here. Right? That's what I would say back then. Like, helmet and elbow pads, like what? Get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. We was riding, man. We would ride down these big ass hills on the street toward crossing traffic. And you know what I'm saying? You don't know if a car's gonna come or not because you're not paying attention. You don't care. That's the type of shit I was doing as a kid. We would get on the bus, go to City Walk, Universal City Walk. You know what I'm saying? Get on the bus at about 6 o'clock, get out there. Because it took a while to get there from the house, North Hollywood, from where I was at, over there off of Crenshaw and Slauson. We would get on that bus, it'd be like 6 o'clock. We get to City Walk at 8. Now I'm 13, 14 years old. Shit is crazy. We wouldn't even tell our parents where we was going. We were just like, we out of here. No cell phones, nothing. No cell phones. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a pager. Maybe one of us had a pager. But pagers wasn't even out then either. 93, 94, 95. We was just riding on the bus, going everywhere we wanted to go. We got on that bus. We go out. We do what we want. You know what I'm saying? We go bump some bitches. We call it bump some bitches. Man, we had some crazy terminology back then. Bump some broads. Go to the mall. Go to City Walk. City Walk was where the action was. We go to City Walk and we'll walk around. Because this City Walk is like, if you're not familiar, Universal Studios is an amusement park, right? And it's an amusement park. You pay to get into the amusement park. And you get on rides and go to these attractions. Well, City Walk was kind of like an outdoor mall right next to Universal Studios. And, you go up there on a Friday or Saturday night, so many girls are out there. So many bad girls, like, of all races. You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of baddies, some mud ducks, a good variety, a good mix. You could find a chick to fit any of the homies. You know, you got the homie that'll take one for the team. He'll get with anything. He'll take anything down. You know what I'm saying? He'll take one for the team he'll take the ugly broad so that, you know, she's comfortable and then the other girls can be comfortable. You know what I mean? So she's not bitching and complaining. Y'all know what that means, taking one for the team. So you had the homie that'll take one for the team. Salute to Love Peace. Dropping that 100 gift. Salute to you, Black, Love Black, or Love Peace. Salute to you. Always supporting. Thank you. And shit, be back by dinner time. Man, we come back. I'm trying to tell you, we get the Universal City Walk by 8 o'clock. We'll walk around. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you got the homie that'll take one for the team. He'll take anything down. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all got to choose. Like, yo, I got that broad right there. I got her. Yeah, I got the tall, skinny one. Yeah, I'll take the short, thick one. And then you got the big mama. The big mama that be talking a lot. You got the big mama. She kind of like the mama bear. You know what I'm saying? She be hating and shit. Cock blocking, we call it. We used to call it cock blocking. Yeah, she be cock blocking. You know what I mean? And, you know. But then the homie that'll take one for the team, y'all know who I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. He'll take one for the team. He'll go ahead, chop it up with her. You know what I'm saying? Distract her. Because, you know, you need a little distraction so you can do your thug thizzle. You know what I mean? And, yeah, that's what we do. We'll walk around that motherfucker. Get as many numbers as you can on a piece of paper. Y'all remember getting numbers on pieces of paper? Shoveling snow for weed money. That's funny. House phones. You know, yeah, they're further ahead. Brian Hustle Hart. No, you didn't say that. Bob Cox says they're further ahead, but further behind. Yeah. And this is why I say all this technology, we think it's, you know, a symbol of human evolution. It's not. It's not, in my opinion. Right? But like I said, man, we'll hang out at City Walk. Hang out probably till like 10, 11. And then we'll catch the bus back. But less buses are running that late. So it might take you another hour or two to get home. You know what I'm saying? Like, but your parents are at the house or they're doing whatever they're doing. And they're not even thinking about you. This is how we used to kick it, man. We get on the bus. No one even thought about getting cars. You know, like nowadays, I drop my daughter off at school. And the student parking lot is full of cars. From, you know, students' cars. Hold on, y'all. My children are texting me.
Oh.
Sorry.
Hey,
what?
It didn't
What
matter.
is going on right
I was
now?
gonna stop you. It wasn't.
Can y'all hear me? Yeah, you had to memorize phone numbers. You had to memorize phone numbers and shit. It was another day and time. Another day and time. Now, I can know exactly where my children are because they got their cell phones. You know? And I can't imagine. I could not imagine my 13 and 14-year-old daughter getting on a bus and taking a 2-hour ride to some outdoor mall and coming home at midnight or 1 o'clock. What? No, hell no. You ain't doing that. No. I couldn't imagine. I'll take you where you want to go. I'll take you. And I'll sit in the parking lot until you're done. You know what I'm saying? I can't, and I'm like, why? Why am I thinking like this? What is going on right now in the world where I don't have that? It's not even that I don't trust my children. No. Well, who did my parents trust? Did my parents trust me to go out until midnight, 1 o'clock? No, you didn't worry about those things. My parents didn't worry about that shit. Were kids getting snatched? Were kids getting killed in drive-bys and strays and shit? Strays. Because, you know, I grew up around some gang territory. So there were always those concerns, right? But it's just, children were not sheltered back then. As far as where I grew up, the parents that I knew in the areas that I grew up in, where I went to school, we were not sheltered like that. There was no sheltering. There was no, oh, you can't go nowhere. No. No, you want to go to the mall? Oh, get your ass on that bus. Yeah. And on Fridays and Saturday nights, unless you was on punishment, they did not care when you came home. They'll see you in the morning. Or they'll see you in the late morning or early afternoon. Anna Rivera says, I remember the milk cartons with missing kids all the time. Yes, there were missing kids all the time. But not to the degree that kids are missing now, though. More kids are missing now, and totaling in the millions every year. Hundreds of thousands to millions of children missing every year. But our children have more access to technology. They have these cell phones. What's going on? What's going on? How many of them are found in less than a day? Well, a lot of them were found in less than a day. And if they weren't found within 48 hours, they were probably, no longer with us. And, some, kids ran away, right? Some kids ran away. Some kids were snatched up. And a lot of kids ran away back in the day. A lot of kids ran away. And they don't do that so much anymore, right? I don't think as many kids run away as they used to. Right? And it's just a different time now. And guess what? With all that knowledge, knowing that your kid can come up missing. Back in the 80s and 90s, when I grew up, they still let you go outside. And you encountered the world, right? You encountered the entire world. You met all kinds of people, adults, children. You interacted with the world in real time, in a real way. You interacted with people in your neighborhood, in your city, on a daily basis. You go to school. Yes, kids go to school now, sure. But when they have free time, are they talking to each other? Or are they on their goddamn phones? And if they talking to each other, they looking at their phones and talking to each other and showing each other shit on the phone. No, back when I was a kid, you had to be creative. You had to have conversation. You had to be able to interact with people, tell jokes back and forth. Cracking jokes. That's what 80% of the time you spent with your friends was talking shit. Shit talking. Clowning each other. And in Cali, we call it clowning, right? In other parts of the country, they call it snapping. Whatever you did. Roasting, talking shit. That's what you do. Yes, we played outside till late. It was a great time. Man, it is what it is. And then, you get into your late teens, your mid to late teens, and you start hanging out with the girls. and vice versa. Now you're spending time with your chick, and y'all going to the movies, or you're going to the mall together, you're holding hands, doing all this other shit. And you had to have game, didn't you? You had to have game. If you were a boy trying to get with a girl, you had to have game just to get a phone number. Just to get a phone number, it was work. Just to get a phone number. Just to get a phone number, you had to have a game of the game. Or you had to be like a jock, or you had to be very extremely good looking and have the sharpest clothes. And even then, they still made you work for the phone number. Joe 1123, salute to you. Salute to Texas. The real Barack O says, I remember the old days in Compton. Shit was different then. I lived in Compton until I was 13 years old. Same shit in Compton when I was in Compton until I was 13, and then we moved over there to by Crenshaw in 50. Well, Crenshaw Slauson, over in that area. I begged Michelle at the you bagged Michelle at the Dollar Tree in 88. Michelle Obama, you funny. That's funny. You bagged Michelle? That's funny. Yeah, man. Wow. It was crazy times back then. Now the kids spend their day in the bedroom on their phones. Yeah. I make my kids, like, when they're not at school and when I'm not at work, when I'm not working and we're just hanging out, we go outside. She told me the Adam's apple was a tumor. You funny. And yeah, I mean, but again, like, I live in a neighborhood. I live in a nice neighborhood with a bunch of kids, and you see a few of them, they'll ride their bikes, whatever the case may be. But it's just not, it's not the same. It's just not the same anymore. And when it comes to protecting your children, it's a whole different ball of wax, right? You moved to West Hollywood. Yeah, West Hollywood can be pretty rough. It's a whole nother ball of wax now, the way you protect your children now. You have to protect your children from digital predators. You got to protect your children from digital predators, because that's how they draw them in, right? They draw them in digitally first. You know, I go through my kids' phones all the time, and I look at messages and all that. They can't talk to anybody they've never seen before on their phones, period. The real Barack O says, those gays don't play. I got smacked in. Shut the hell up, man. Oh, boy. You wild as hell, man. But think about it. You have to protect your children in a whole nother way now. But at the same time, you don't want to shelter them so much that when they become adults, they don't know what to do with themselves. How do you navigate that, right? How do you navigate? How do you prepare your children for adulthood in the world that they are going to face when they become adults? When the world you faced when you became adult was a completely different world. You pulled your kids out of public school. I homeschooled my kids their entire school career up until this fall. They just started going to school. My oldest is 15 years old. She had been homeschooled for all the way up to the 10th grade. And because the dynamic in the family is changing, my wife is going to school full time because she wants to get into medicine. And so I still have to work, you know. And so yeah, we had to do it. But we also felt like we wanted to give them an opportunity to experience it. And we picked some good schools. They're going to some good schools. So that is a good thing, but it's still a school. It's still an institution where they're preparing your kids to be institutionalized, right? They're preparing your children to become hardworking taxpayers, right? I appreciate the names, Joe. Salute to you. Salute to Yuri boy. And you know, my children, you got to prepare them, right? And yeah, they're good schools. It's a good school, and you just got to listen. Even then, you can't. It is what it is, man. Like, you can't be around them 24/7, especially when they go to school. At least when I homeschooled my kids, I knew exactly what they were doing because my wife was there to make sure that they were learning and that they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. It is what it is. Anna Rivera says, show them the stupid stuff that is going to go on, but let them know it's not the way to go. For sure. Yeah, that's what we do. That's exactly what you do. Or how not to be colonized. Yes, you show them. You have conversations with them. You tell them, look, this is how the world is now. This is what's out there. This is what you're going to encounter. But they still have to go out there and experience adulthood all on their own. Right? You start with prayer every morning. That's what's up. That's what's up, Era. Christ commands us to follow the laws of the land, but not fall into debauchery and sin like Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, it does do that. That's exactly what. Yep, that's what the Bible says, right? Essentially. Yeah. Yeah. This really is not this is just a general conversation, guys. I'm not really talking about anything specific. I'm just having a conversation with y'all because why not? Every now and then it's good to just have these conversations. Yeah. When you think about it, you connect with more people than you ever thought you would when you were a kid. Right? Like if you're my age at 45 years old, right? 45 years old when I was 18, 19, 20, everybody I talked to, I had to meet them in person. Even with the internet, you had the internet back then, you had all these different, what did they call those things? You had those chat rooms. What did they call them? You had to dial up internet, and then you had to go into these chat rooms and what did they call those things? I forgot. But it's like a chat room, but you don't see anybody. You have a little username and they talk to each other and all that other shit. I forgot what it's called. But anyway, y'all, I'm about to get off this thing. About to get out of here, man. And you guys have a good night. I'll be back at it tomorrow, more than likely. A lot of shit going on. I definitely want to talk about, AOL. Yeah, AOL and all that shit. All those messenger thingies where you go in and you chat with people. And your identity is completely anonymous or whatever the case may be. Salute to Yuri Boyka. Thank you, Black Spring with Autumn. Salute to you, Queen. Yes, ASL, all that type of shit. You had that, right? But I mean, you got on there when you got on there. It's not something that, okay, I have to do this. So every minute of every day when you have free time, you're not looking down like you look at on your cell phone. You know, these damn cell phones, man. But I definitely, and salute to Black Real Autumn, so much to talk about, man. So much to be made aware of. And that, and, you know, just before I get out of here, I just wish one day an EMP went off. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I'm one of the cats that'll be on my phone. You'll see me on my phone, right? Looking at stuff, scrolling, looking at news, looking at podcasts, absorbing information, seeing what's going on in the world. I'm one of those cats. Yeah, sure. But I do just, sometimes, don't you just wish that all the shit would just get cut off? Is it just me? I used to, yeah, books without pictures are critical. Absolutely. And my children love to read books. My children, and that's one thing I do appreciate. My children love to read physical books. They love it. Not even like an EMP though, right? I often talk about how I wish technology stopped advancing in the 90s. Like 95. Or even, let's say 98 when I turned 18. Sometimes I wish technology and everything else, you age, you get older, the world and life goes on, but technology, I wish technology stopped advancing at like 1998. Hidden Marco, salute. He said, sometimes I wish this too. My general is fucked. I wish there was a way for us to be forced to be more intimate with each other. I suffer from this in my early 20s. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Pre-Y2K and after this, almost akin to BC and DC calendar switch. Absolutely. I wish that for everything, Hidden Marco. I wish everything, like, right? Even just everything. I wish it all just stopped advancing in 1998. You still had DVDs, you still had CD players, you had the internet, but it was like a slow ass internet, right? Like it wasn't super fast. You still had to go and do hard research. Like to me, 1998, the technology I had when I was 18 years old that I had access to, I feel like, okay, you still had pagers, you had PDAs, right? Remember a PDA, a Palm Pilot, right? You had things like that. You had navigation systems, things like that, but it wasn't. Yes, some medical technology is beneficial, Hidden Marco, but some other types of medical technology is absolutely dangerous. Right? Look at the COVID-19 medical technology. Look at some of the technology in medicine that is advancing and speeding up cancers. Right? Now you got fast-acting cancer. Fast-acting cancer? No. Certain medical technology, absolutely. But some things are better left alone, in my opinion. But see, it's not even really the advancement of medical technology that's the problem. It's the people behind the advancement of medical technology. The evil motherfuckers, right? Big pharma, big insurance, right? These individuals, these are the evil people that push medical technology that is a detriment to human beings in the long run. Medical technology that's designed to reduce the population. Handy Andy says that was a biological warfare, not medical technology. Well, it was biological warfare using medical technology. They used medical technology to advance biological warfare. Yes, it was a marriage. Because look who pushed this stuff onto the people. The medical industry. They shamed you for not getting the jab, right? They shame you for not getting 70,000 inoculations by the time you're 1 second old, right? All the vaccine schedules and all this stuff. Although I wouldn't call that true medical technology, since it's not being used to hurt. It's being used to hurt more than to heal or help. I'm referring to truly life-saving tools. Yes, those are fine. Yes. Those technologies are fine. I have no problem with those technologies. What I'm referring to when I say technology, I'm talking about how the advancement into cell phones and 4G, 5G, 3G, 13,000G, and smart goddamn meters and all these things, computer cars, right? Cars with computers in them and push buttons and this and that, and just everything, just all this the technological boom, the technological advancement that we have is ushering in an era where we were evolving to a certain degree. We were evolving, and then we got to a point where, okay, now we're being dumbed down with this technology, and now we are devolving, right? Because we're not connected to each other anymore. Like you said. Yes, they shame literacy. Black Spring. They shame fact checking. They shamed us for using the scientific method to challenge the jab, right? To challenge even the how they were pushing COVID-19 itself. The lies that they told about that. The technology I'm referring to is essentially having to do with cell phones and all this different shit. Because look, all the data collection, all the high-speed internet, all these things that takes so much demand and put so much demand, so have so many energy demands. The energy demands for the technology that we use today, and how people are disconnected from each other because of these cell phones, and it's a problem. Exactly, Hidden Marco. We're not having a human experience. He says, even with that though, I would honestly rather just stay in the 90s, even if we were lost to advanced medicine, because I still think the trade-off is better. Well, yeah, because think about it. We have to advance medicine because we're advancing technology that is really killing us. And I also refer to the advancement of food, food shit, the crap that they put in our food. That had to advance as well. They had to increase the amount of crap they put in our food. Internet, what does a net do? Exactly, yeah. Yeah, what does a net do? World Wide Web. They did call it a World Wide Web. Blockchains, what are chains used for? These are all great points, Joe Moore. Absolutely. When I think about the 90s, it seems balanced. The right amount of technology for us to still be connected enough with each other. Yes. The 90s was perfect. The 90s was the best decade in human history, period. In my opinion. Like I said, man, nothing wrong with communicating on phones, and we had phones, right? We had pay phones, we had house phones, we had digital house phones. You get cordless house phones. But also the food. Even junk food back then was not as trash as it is now. Had way less ingredients. It tasted better. Was it good for you? No, not necessarily. But we wasn't getting diabetes like that back then. Childhood diabetes? Hell no. No. In autism was autism back in the 90s. Like if you was autistic, you listen, you were obviously autistic. Now everybody on the spectrum. Hell, I could probably go and get diagnosed with autism if I wanted to tomorrow. Everybody and their mama got autism. Shit. But back then, shit, if you had autism, they knew. You knew. Yeah. You were either a non-functioning autistic person or you're a functioning autistic person, only in that you were able to function as a communicative human being, right? And you didn't have as many triggers, right? Because autistic people had a lot of triggers. They didn't like certain noises, they didn't like certain patterns, they had to do things a certain way. All that time, it was very obvious. Now, if you're socially awkward, they call you autistic. But then there are actually more autistic people. Anyway, it was still there a lot more benign. Yes, it was way more benign. Yeah, the diabetes is just crazy. They weren't spraying the sky either. The sky was blue. Wasn't no goddamn nanoparticulates being sprayed all over the place. They had the technology essentially way back in the 40s. They were doing cloud seeding in World War II. They could manipulate the weather to a degree. But even that advanced. Now they can manipulate entire weather systems. They can manipulate hurricanes. They can manipulate tornadoes and using electromagnetic fields. Electromagnetic fields is not complicated, but the amount of power you need to create these electromagnetic fields, how they're able to achieve that in the atmosphere, advanced to the degree they can now manipulate weather systems. Hidden Marco says, I already spoke about this, but I need to make a more refined video. Oh, you did? I'm gonna make a video about this in my okay. Yeah, make sure y'all drop your link. Black Spring with Autumn and Hidden Marco. Make sure y'all drop your link. And the brother Shelton. I think if you still here, drop your links, y'all, before I get out of here. I'm about to get on out of here. Yes, Next Rad Radar, all that type of shit. Black Spring with Autumn says autism is the next protected class, the class that the system created. Yes. But what's interesting to me is how many people want to be on the spectrum now. So they're making autism cool so that, well, when one in every two children are autistic by 2050, they're saying, or 2030, one in every two children are going to be autistic. So they're making autism cool so that when one in every two of your children have autism, you ain't tripping. You're not looking and digging and trying to figure out why. They want you to be, they are conditioning you for a world full of autistic children who will be autistic adults who will be what? Easier to control, easier to manipulate, easier to put in a place, easier to use, easier to whatever. Salute to Latricia Montgomery. Thank you for coming through, Queen. I appreciate you. Andrew Davidson says, God can send winds, the devil can send winds, and the man can send winds. May God give us more discernment to see what's what. Exactly, Andrew. Good point. Yes. Medicate the world, exactly. No problem, Black Spring with Autumn. Hidden Marco, make sure you drop your link in there too, bro. It's a problem, guys. Anyway, y'all. Thankfully, none of my children are autistic. I will never think autism is cool, because it's not. Because basically what you are doing when you have autistic children is you are lessening their chance to become successful adults. But they don't want your children to be successful adults in the way they should be. They want your children to be successful at feeding into the system, being good little worker bees, being good little tax cattle that they want to drive into these 15-minute cities. It's going to be easier to do that to who? Autistic people. If 1 in 2 people are autistic by 2050 or whatever it is, I forgot exactly what year, what decade, then they ain't got to worry about nothing at all. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you for coming through. Much love. Yeah, vaccine, sure, beta male, whatever you want to say. Sure, I'm a beta male. No problem, Jim Smith. Anyway, much love. Oh, you created a vaccine waiver? Yeah. Yeah, I use a vaccine waiver for my children. I have the lonely pamphleter says, that's funny. I have Asperger's and I know 7 others with it. We are not easy to control and we fight against the powers that be. I also own my company and I don't think Asperger's is, in my opinion, okay, I know they put it in a spectrum. See, they created a spectrum. And I'm going to tell you why I believe they created a spectrum. See, the spectrum, you have Asperger's. What does that even mean? Right? They say that Asperger's is on a spectrum of autism. I don't think it is. I think people with Asperger's are quirky and have certain, they used to call people eccentric. Whatever happened to that? You could say Kanye West has Asperger's. No, it's people. I don't believe it that Asperger's is autism. I don't agree with that. I know that they told you that medically it is. I don't think it's on the spectrum. I don't believe in the spectrum. The lonely pamphleter says he's eccentric. That's what I think people with Asperger's are. They're eccentric, they're quirky, they are intelligent, they're extremely intelligent. They are savants. They can figure things out that no other people can. I believe that someone like a Nikola Tesla may have had what one would call Asperger's. Definitely not easy to control, right? But if you're autistic and they create a world with functioning autistic people, even though if you watch the movie Rain Man, right, with Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise, Rain Man wasn't easy to control, right? But he was not violent either. He was not resistant either, right? You had to just coax him into doing things, right? You, like Tom Cruise, if you watch the movie Rain Man with Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman, it was not easy to control him until Tom Cruise was able to figure out a way to communicate with him and provide him with the things he needed. All you have to do is feed his idiosyncrasies, right? All you have to do is feed what autistic people focus on, right? They're very easily agitated. They don't like human contact, and all these different things. You don't think Rain Man was autistic? The lonely pamphleter? I think he was. I watched that movie in the 80s. I'm pretty sure he had they said he had autism. You know? But he was sort of like, because he stayed in a facility. You know? Yes, darkness. But autistic people. He was something else. I gotta watch that movie again. I was pretty sure he's autistic in Rain Man. But he would be one that would be considered to be on the spectrum. I gotta watch the movie again. It's been a minute since I watched the movie. I love that movie. But the bottom line is, they want to dumb you down. They want you to be submissive. They want you to be subdued. They want you to be non-confrontational. Oh, they said he was autistic? Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was. They want you to be easy to control, right? They don't care about your autistic quirks, right? That's not it's not threatening to them. They want you to be non-threatening. They want you to be this. They want you to be that. Anyway, y'all, let me get out of here. Much love, y'all. Thank you for coming through. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. Make sure y'all get your fitness in. Make sure y'all eat right. Stop putting this crap in your bodies, man. Avoid the sugar shit. That's what I call processed foods. Sugar shit and industrial seed oils. Sugar shit, lab grown shit, lab made shit. Try to eat whole foods, you know. Pick up a book and read a book. Right? Do things. Exercise your brain, man. One day I'm looking forward to the day where I can homestead and be self-sufficient and not have my cell phone on me. I'm out there working on the land or doing what I want to do. And then when I feel like being on my phone, I'll go in, I'll sit at the computer. I'll do some content or whatever and get on my phone if necessary. Dylan Pringle, salute to you. Charles Green, salute. Anyway, much love. Like, share, subscribe. Y'all stay safe out there. Let's keep marching forward toward freedom.